my house, I'm gonna give you candy. Come on to
Hi,
my
I'm Ernie Green, and I
house.
am here with Janet Paulsen, who will be here at the Live Art Studio this Friday, March 8th at 7:30 p.m. Janet, welcome. I'm so glad you're here at the studio, and you are doing a program that celebrates the life and music making of one of the great American singers, Rosemary Clooney. So tell us a little bit about Rosemary Clooney and why you chose this.
Oh, absolutely. First of all, thank you for having me on, and I'm
Very
really
welcome. Thanks.
excited to perform at Live Arts on Friday night. Yeah, Rosemary Clooney, such an inspiration for me. She's from an era that was just amazing what she was able to accomplish as a woman back then. And actually, it is a tribute show to Rosemary Clooney, but it has a title called Joyful Song because she really, I mean, she had such hardships in her life
Right.
and at one point she had nothing. And even said in a book, it was called Girl Singer. That's where I got a lot of my material.
Mhm.
She said that it was just so nice to come back to singing and find the joy again of singing.
Right.
And, she had such a beautiful lyrical quality to her voice. And, Ernie, I don't know if you know my background, but I was actually an opera singer.
Okay.
And after the pandemic, I decided, what am I doing now? So I decided, my girlfriend said, why aren't you singing? And I'm like, well, I'm not going to be singing opera at this point. But I studied a lot of Barbara Cook master
Oh
classes
yeah. Sure.
online, who made a transition to jazz, the Great American Songbook.
Absolutely.
So that was my inspiration. And, through Zoom and through different programs, I coached with a coach from Nashville and Chicago area, and kind of just to get my repertoire up and running. And then I hooked up with Anthony Pachetti, a pianist in Indianapolis area. He's with the
Mhm.
United States Jazz Ambassador Program, so he travels
Right.
all around the world. But the two of us, we like working together, and we curate these shows, and he helps me with kind of the arrangement of songs.
Mhm.
So what we like is it's not only just the singing, but I also tell the backstory of her a little bit. And there's some really interesting facts. And, the audience one of the questions will probably come out as, and how is George Clooney fit in all this?
Well, I mean, come on, we gotta dish the dirt here at Live Art Studio. We don't just, but you talked about sort of the when we were talking before we hit the magic record button. You talked a little bit about, being a woman at this time and trying to carve out a career and a family. And my God, it's so hard. I mean, I can't even imagine. And I think the thing I always think about the time when Rosemary Clooney was sort of at the apex of her career, there were so many singers who were also
Mhm.
really good singers, and for her to be able to sort of to rise to that level, amidst all of these other singers. I mean, and even here in Baltimore, we were really blessed to have Ethel Ennis.
You're absolutely right when you said she's right up there with them all because
Oh yeah.
she knew Ella. She spent an afternoon, if I dare say, having gin and tonics with Billie Holiday once.
Oh
So
yeah.
to read this book, it's just amazing. It's not that she's name dropping. It's just, but that was her life. I mean, she
Right.
was really a part of all this. And in my show too, I'm singing songs that were created just for her by Duke Ellington called Blue Rose,
Right.
and they did an album together. And all these albums she's did, it's just amazing.
There are so many sort of iconic moments that you can sort of draw from in terms of her musical output. What is one that to you um, is something we should be looking forward to? Like
Okay,
just pick one.
well,
I mean, it's
exactly.
hard. It's really hard, right?
She sang, what she did albums. I mean, she started back in the day with Columbia Records. I mean, she has such oh my gosh, all those composers she did salutes
Right.
to. Irving Berlin was on the set of White Christmas. And that song, Love You Didn't Do Right by Me,
Right.
when he heard Rosemary Clooney sing, he went home that night and wrote her that song. That was not part of the original pieces.
Really?
Yeah. So
Oh.
see, you got to buy a ticket for this show, right?
Well, I know. Well, this is, look, I have I have friends who do shows about individual singers
Yeah.
and what's always fun is when you through these cabaret performances,
Right.
you discover new little, uh, nuggets about these people. I have a very dear friend who does a show about Jane Froman,
Right.
who, my father, talked about Jane Froman and her singing all the time,
Right.
but I didn't know a golden note of
Mhm.
of Jane Froman's music. And through my friend who had done this show, I started to check her out. And what you realize is there are so many little things that are just part of this,
Mhm.
that I think make it kind of fun. So I'm looking forward to this. I mean, this is
Yes.
really going to be fun.
And you know what everybody also likes too is, of all her success, she was most successful with the songs they were called back in the day novelty tunes,
Oh yeah,
which
right.
were actually, Mitch Miller was in charge of all those songs, like
Oh yeah.
Frank Sinatra and all that stuff. But she didn't like them. But then in the end, she's like, wait a minute, these made me a lot of money. I guess I
Well,
do like them.
listen, we don't have a frame of reference for those because, there were still novelty-esque tunes in the 60s and early 70s. But, honestly, they have gone so far out of fashion. If you were to talk to a young singer today about a novelty tune, they would have no idea what you're talking about.
But
Be-
what's kind of funny is though, because in the show I just touch on them a little bit, but that uh, hey Mambo, Mambo Italia.
Right,
That's actually on a commercial right now. It was
right,
just
right, right.
things come
Yeah.
around, right? So,
They really do, and it just shows you that there's so many. There's such a an abundance of riches. So,
right.
well, anyway, listen, I am looking forward to seeing you, and tell
Thank
us
you.
who's in your band,
Okay, well, actually, we're Anthony Puccetti is my
right?
keyboard, and
Your
he also
keyboard,
does a lot of my arrangements.
right?
So he'll be on the keys that night. I also have Frank Russo on drums.
Yep,
Unfortunately, Sean Simon was going to be on bass. Sean and I work a lot, but unfortunately had a scheduling conflict.
right.
So it is going to be actually John Panetta who actually works with those guys.
Yeah,
I
they
have,
work
you know
together.
what? I am blessed that I have such
Yeah,
great musicians.
yeah. Well,
So they're the best.
you've got three fabulous ones, so you'll
Yes.
be in good hands. So,
Yeah.
well, listen, I am so looking forward to this. It's going to be fun, and everybody, get your tickets. Go to liveartsmd.org. And you
Okay.
can find this concert on the calendar listing. It is Friday, March 8th at 7:30 p.m. Janet Paulsen, thank you so much for coming, and thank
Thank
you.
you for having me.
And I'm looking forward to seeing you.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. All
It'll
right.
be fun.
Thank
See you
you.
there.
Come
All right.
on,
See you then.
has my